EMR CPOE prescriptions, generating a controlled substance prescription electronically. In the Creating a New Prescription video, we covered standard medications, both by paper as well as e-prescribing. In this video, we're going to specifically look at controlled substances going electronically. Now, before you can prescribe controlled substances electronically, there are some prerequisites that we cover in separate videos here on the Resource Center. Now, once this setup has been accomplished, generating an electronic prescription of controlled substances is no different than any other prescription inside the EHR application. For example, patients who have an open encounter, you can still use the encounter table of content prescription screen. For patients who do not have an open encounter, you have the CPOE refill tab. And thirdly, pharmacy requests will still come into the physician's inbox messages, which allows the physician to then either approve or deny it. And then finally, to complete the prescription, the pharmacy selected must support the controlled substance service through SureScripts. And then the prescribing provider must digitally sign each individual controlled substance drug. Now, this is done by selecting the Ready to Sign checkbox next to the drug name, entering his or her own personal prognosis user password, and thirdly, entering an OTP code. Now, this code must be generated on the token, and this is whether the token is connected or not. No code can ever be reused. So every time an EPCS prescription is being written, you will have to generate a new code on the token that is entered along with your password. So I'm going to take a look at a couple of examples now. I've logged in as Dr. Cooper, and I have selected my patient, Michaela Pratt. She has an open encounter, so I've already selected her prescription screen. Now, in this first example, we're just going to do a simple controlled substance prescription for Michaela with a single drug. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and choose my pharmacy. You'll note that to the left of the pharmacy, you will need to have the EPCS label. That is what will indicate the pharmacy you've chosen supports the controlled substance program. And as with any prescription and prognosis, then, you have the two options of either filling out the prescription one drug at a time up here in the individual drug data entry section, or down here at the bottom by choosing from your preferred drug list. For this example, I'm just going to go ahead and enter the details up here on the top, the strength, dosage, frequency, and we'll go ahead and update it. Now, because I am logged in as Dr. Cooper, who has approval rights, and I am enrolled for the EPCS program, as soon as I click the Save button, the system is going to recognize by the DEA class of my drug that it needs to be validated for a digital signature. The type column will reflect the signature status. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and notice my type says not signed, so it is immediately prompting me to sign my drug. Now, since I've only written one drug on this prescription, that is the only one I have here with the option Ready to Sign. So I'm going to go ahead and click the checkbox Ready to Sign. The password it is asking for is the doctor's prognosis password. And then you'll see it also wants the OTP code. So at this point, you push the button on the end of the token. And again, this is whether the token is actually plugged into the computer or not. And then the 6-digit code that shows on the screen of the token is what we're going to enter here. And then click the Sign button. And this is going to validate the token against the physician's setup in prognosis, which has been authenticated through the digital certificate. And at this point, I can go ahead and click Send, and it will go to my pharmacy. And then back here in the drug details section on my pharmacy, where that type currently says not signed, it will immediately update to signed. We'll see the check mark next to the drug. And if you notice my message across the top, it says that my ERX has been sent successfully, accepted, and verified by SureScript. Now, for this next example, we're going to prescribe more than one drug. This time I've opened up John Dummy's chart. Again, I'm on his prescription screen and I've chosen his pharmacy, but I'm going to use my preferred drug list this time since I want to choose multiple drugs. We'll go ahead and bring in the Xanax and we'll give him some Percocet. Again, since I'm logged in as Dr. Cooper, I've got full approval rights. I'm going to go ahead and save my prescription. Notice my type says not signed, just as we saw with Michaela, and then the e-sign screen automatically comes up. The only difference you'll notice is there's more than one drug listed. The same sequence applies in electronically signing the drug that we saw with Michaela. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Ready to Sign options for both of my drugs. Enter my prognosis password. And I'm going to generate a new OTP code on my token. Remember, you do have to generate a new code for each new prescription. Now, in this example, I've got more than one drug. That single code will qualify both of the drugs. So you do not need a new OTP code for each drug. It is for each prescription. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the Sign button. And now that my electronic signature has been applied to both drugs, I'm just going to click the Send button. This is now electronically transmitting the prescription to the pharmacy. And as we saw with Michaela, the type indicator that you see in the background right now still shows as not signed. Will immediately update to signed. We have the check mark next to the drugs, and we have the confirmation message that it has been successfully sent, accepted, and verified. So as regards the EPCS prescriptions, whether it is a single drug or multiple drugs, the important thing is to digitally sign each drug, which requires that the prescribing provider enter his or her prognosis password, as well as generate a single one-time password code for that prescription. And each prescription does require a new code be generated, whether or not the token is connected to your computer or not. Now, as regards refills, these are covered in separate videos on the Resource Center, both regular refills within Prognosis, as well as the electronic refill requests from the pharmacy. Those videos will include controlled substances right along with your standard drugs. So in review, for generating a controlled substance prescription electronically, there are some prerequisites which are covered in the EPCS setup in Prognosis video, such as providers must be enrolled for the service with SureScripts, they must be identity proofed, and have a security token that has been authenticated. In addition, there are some special setup and configurations that must be done in the Prognosis system itself. Once that is done, generating the prescription within the EHR is no different than any standard prescription. If the patient has an encounter, it can be done through the prescription screen of the encounter. In the absence of an encounter, you can use the CPOE refill tab, or if the pharmacy sends an electronic request directly to the physician's inbox messages. In addition, the pharmacy selected for the prescription must support the controlled substance service. And then finally, the provider must digitally sign each drug with his or her personal password, as well as a unique one-time password code that is generated on the token each time.